Hello guys and welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls Prepare to Die. I'm Coolican Dragoon, and this is episode 5. In the last episode, we managed to take down the Taurus Demon, who is the boss of the Undead Burg, and we have moved on to the next area. We met Knight Solaire, one of the members of what is called the Covenant of the Sun. And he would give us the white soap sign so we could actually summon other people into our world. And we found the Drake again. He's just going to sit up there. He tried to kill us last time. Now, in the next episode, we're going to actually try to get to the other side of the Drake, which there's 2 ways to do that. And we're going to get through the next area. The first thing you could do is actually, if you come down through here, you can see the Drake's tail up there. If you cut off the Drake's tail, you get a weapon that a lot of people like to use early game called the Drake Sword. The Drake Sword doesn't have any ranking, so while it's not bad early game, by the time you reach, I think it's the 5th boss in the game, you really shouldn't be using it anymore, unless you're doing a specific type of craziness. So what you could do if you wanted to is you could come down here. Gotta make sure you watch out for this guy. Yeah, get the backstab on him. You could go then over there through that. There is a spearman right there, and there are 3 mice back there. You do have to be careful of mice. They will cause poison if they hit you too much. And just climb up back behind the Drake. But there is another way that's... I'm going to try it. I usually can do this. Alright, you get back here. And he'll breathe fire over it all. That's not what we're waiting for. What we're waiting for is for him to move. He's going to breathe fire. Oop, I went over too far. That's also not what we're waiting for, because I'll just go right back. And I died. Well, that was somewhat unexpected, but at least we're back down here. I am kind of sad, because that does mean I'm not human anymore, which I was hoping to remain human long enough I could kindle the next bonfire, but we might have to wait on kindling that one. It's not a big deal. You really don't have to kindle every bonfire that you go to. But, okay, I did manage to get over here. Now at least I have my souls and my humanity back, even if I'm not human anymore. Now, come on. This is a nice little spot. As long as you're over far enough, you're safe, but you do kind of have to wait for him. Sometimes he'll do it fast, sometimes he won't. Come on already. What we're waiting for is we're waiting for him to move. Nope, not like that. Drinking this. He's really not wanting to do it today. Sometimes he can go really fast, sometimes it takes a little while. But what should happen is he should come off of there and land. And you could fight him if you wanted to, like now. As soon as he does that, you just want to run. So what you can do here is you can run straight past him into this little area. Now we are in the Undead Parish. This is where the first Spell of Awakening is. I'm going to light that bonfire, and then I'm going to get out of the way because he can breathe fire. And up here, this is actually a covenant that we could join. He'll just kind of be up there. He'll fly away again because we're here. Don't make the mistake, though, in thinking that he's gone. He'll stay right here. Like I was saying, this statue is actually the place for a covenant, the Covenant of the Sun, which Knight Solaire is a part of. We can't actually join it because the requirement is that you have to have 25 faith to join it. However, there is a way to get around this, in which is every time you successfully defeat a boss as a summon, every time you get summoned to somebody else's world and defeat a boss, then the requirement will drop by 5. So if you have 3 successful summons, then you can just automatically join it. The Sun Bros, which is what the community kind of affectionately calls them, are easier to get summoned into other worlds. and they can pump up my strength again here. They're easier to get summoned into other worlds, and they have access to a couple miracles that are actually really nice to have. Like I said before, we're not actually going to be doing any of those miracles. We're not going to be focusing on any miracles. I may try to do some bonus episodes from New Game Plus, where I show off a couple of some of those miracles, maybe against a couple of bosses. And over here, if you go down, this is the way that that other path would have taken you. Would come up here. If you go up, there is another Black Knight you could fight if you wanted to. I might take him on if I could use my Zweihander one-handed, but I can't yet. And you can see up there, there are a whole bunch of hollow soldiers and a boar. If I go too far into the room, there is actually a gate here that will drop and prevent me from leaving, which is not a major problem, but what you kind of want to do is stay back a little bit. You want to take out these two guys first, which you can do that by drawing them out. So in case you do take too much damage or something, you can still go back down to your bonfire. You don't have to worry about it. There we go. And you can kind of see too, this is something one of the reasons why you really do want to pay attention throughout this game. You can see there are actually two archers up there, and if you can kind of turn and look, you see there's stairs over there, so that's where we're going next. We're going to run through here and get to these stairs. I'm actually going to change to my Zweihander, despite the fact that I have to use two hands to wield it. Just because it might be a little bit easier if I can get it. I'm not really getting this to work very well. But if we go here, we can now one-shot these guys with this Zweihander, and I just got shot straight in the head. Alright, so now we've done that. Alluring Skull just makes enemies come towards you, so we don't really have to worry about that too much. Come on. Attack already. I am kind of tempting fate here. I'm not getting this to really work, so I'm going to take a swig of Estus and swap myself back to my katana. That is kind of dangerous to do, because if this is later in the game, just doing that probably would have made it so that I would have gotten hit at least once or twice. Come on, attack me. This is going to be a waiting episode, I can just already tell. Take down the boss, no problem, but apparently, just a normal soldier is too much for us. There we go. Alright. So now there is only, I say only, but they're still there. There is that, the wild boar, and a swordsman left. So now, he's actually going to stay down there. We're going to drop down back over here, which should, bring him over. Now he's dead. So now the boar will begin to chase us, and this is the easiest way to kill the boar. You can see, even with the Zweihander, which we used to take out the boss in 2 hits, it is still not doing a ton of damage to this guy because he has massive defense. But this is the easiest way I have found to defeat the boar, is kind of come down here. Come on, charge me. As long as you're not stupid. There we go, now he's dead. As long as you're not stupid about how you're playing, you can do that. The Boars will not respawn, so you don't have to worry about fighting him again and again and again. But now, we can't go through that gate because there was actually an enemy that ran up there. You can see him right now. And he has locked that gate, so we can't get through that way. So we have to come down here. And this is a spot you still want to be careful. because I didn't pull that one off, right? And because there'd be a guy right there and a guy over there, as you guys kind of saw. This will be a lot easier once I can use this thing one-handed. Yeah, because the guys down here, none of these guys down here are overly powerful. We're only going to get 20 souls from them, or 24 if you do an overkill. But they're still a pain in the rear, because there's usually a lot of them. And right now, the biggest problem I have is, yeah, you do want to pick up that key. I was saying the biggest problem I have right now is, if you guys notice over on the right hand side where all of my resists are, you'll notice there's a poise stat, and it is 0. In terms of the game, what that means is I flinch. I flinch from everything. And because I'm flinching every time I get hit, it means that my attacks are getting interrupted. And so, in terms of even just fighting like these simple enemies, because they do have a tendency to do those kind of attacks relatively quickly, it gets a lot harder. I take a lot more damage than I really should be taking. Liar ahead. I don't know which one he's talking about. I was saying I do have a tendency to take a little bit more damage because of that, but our poise is dependent on our armor, and there is a ring too that you can use to increase your poise. We can come through this fog gate, and now we see that we are actually above where we were. Down there is where we fought against that iron boar, and we can now move on to the next little area here. Take down this guy. He got his shield up in time. There, now he's dead. These, one of the dangers you do have to kind of face throughout this game is that everything you can do to an enemy, enemies can do to you. You can backstab, you can parry and riposte. They can backstab, they can parry and riposte. We haven't really seen that yet because the enemies we've been fighting can't do that. That guy I just killed can actually do a parry, so you do have to kind of be careful. Any of the enemies can do a backstab, it's just most of them will not go for the backstab. There's no real reason for them to. So, come down here. This is an area of the game where they like to kind of corner you off into these little areas. Come on, attack me, hurry up. Okay, good, I did get it in time. While you're doing a backstab or a parry post in this game, is you are actually invulnerable to... There we go. You're invulnerable to other attacks, and I knew that that guy was there deep down. If you can get into a backstab or a parry or post with that spear guy fast enough there, then you don't have to worry about him. But if you can't, then all of a sudden you're fighting on two sides in a very narrow corridor, and it kind of gets a little finicky, I guess, for lack of a better term. Alright, come on. I refuse to die here. Still no Titanite. Those guys usually will drop Titanite. But no, I'm not getting any Titanite from them. That's annoying. Alright, now he's dead. Alright, so what we can do now is we'll head here, down this way. The boss is actually the other direction, but down here's where we are going to kind of want to go. Because there are a couple things this way that we are going to want. You can already hear one of them. That nice little clink, clink, clink in the background. First thing though is this here is the next bonfire. This will be a bonfire we're going to use for a couple different areas. Repair my stuff. So I'm going to get that level. That means we only need one more level, and then we can use our Zweihander with using only one hand. Down here is a very, very useful person. This is the second blacksmith in the game, as you might have guessed from his hammering.
Well, you must be a new arrival. I'm Andre of Astoria. If you require smithing, then speak to me.
Alright, so Andre will do basically all the things that Vickett would do as well. And we can learn the Hurrah gesture from him. I don't think I've used any gestures yet. And once again, we could improve them if I had any Titanite. But no, the game is deciding that I don't need Titanite. You can actually buy Titanite from him. I'll show it to you here. You can use this kind of Titanite, the Titanite shards, to reinforce your weapons, standard weapons, to a +5. But I don't have any. He also has this. The Crest of Artorias is something you are going to want, but as you can kind of tell, it costs 20,000 souls. And while I did have over 20,000 souls before I fought against the Taurus Demon, that took a lot of grinding. So this is something you do kind of want to wait on. Then he just has a couple of other weapons you can use. For any of you people who like using hand-to-hand, he does have the Cestus. And of course now you can also purchase arrows and bolts from him as well. But I am not going to worry about any of that right now. I'm going to go this way first because there's something in the church up here that I do want. The Undead Parish. Then there's a couple things up here in the Undead Parish, and then there's something else down there the other way that you are going to want as well. At least I want for our build here. This is not actually going to be the armor set I will be using later, which is one of the reasons why I said I'm not used to taking hits and flinching, is because by the time we get the armor set we want, we will take on bosses and not flinch. Ooh, and I got a humanity from him. That's nice. And now you're done. We are going to be doing the... light crossbow. We are going to be kindling the bonfire back there by Andre here soon. Not quite yet, but before too much time has passed. Before we take on the boss, at the very least. People kindle bonfires at different times. I have a tendency to... I like to kindle the bonfire before I take on the boss. Before I take on the boss, I'm sorry if I stopped the commentary there, guys. I knew this guy was here, and I knew he was coming. He's gonna chug, and usually I try to stop them from chugging, but... Come on, attack. And now you're down. Okay, there we go. Now he's down. He's a non-respawning enemy. Oh, what's he... Oh, finally, he's gonna... Finally, I get a Titanite shard. I get a Titanite shard from that guy. He usually doesn't give me jack. Alright, but here's the thing, that he was guarding up here at the section where you're standing, and this is the first Firekeeper soul. If you go down into your items here, you can actually take a look. If I can actually keep it on the right thing. I don't know why I'm having a hard time keeping it there. Here it is. Soul of a long-lost Firekeeper. Each Firekeeper is a corporeal manifestation of her bonfire, and draw for the humanity which is offered her. Her soul is gnawed by the infinite humanity and can boost the power of the precious Estus flasks. It can be used to gain humanity and restore HP at the cost of losing the Firekeeper soul to reinforce the Estus flasks. So that is something that we are going to want to do. And actually we're going to go ahead and... Oh man, we're getting kind of long here. Longer than I thought. Okay then, I'm going to end off the episode here. And I'm going to, in the next episode, we're going to go and reinforce our Estus flask and get a couple more items that we're going to want before we take on the boss here in the Undead Parish. So I will see you guys next time.